Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Wow, nice to see you guys. Hello? Hello and welcome. Lovely to see you all. Can you hear me? If everybody is okay and you can hear me, I'd like to begin. Welcome to our webinar, Learning Resource Network International English Exams UK, delivered by DQuals. I'm very happy to have you here, obviously. My name is Svetlana, and I am an English language teacher and assessor at LRN. And today I'm very happy that I'm able to introduce LRN to you. Firstly, okay, I'm going to mute that. We're going to talk about the essential information about LRN, where it comes from, the parts of the exam, where it's accepted. Next, we're going to talk about the importance of its recognition throughout the world. And also, thirdly, we're going to talk about the importance of LRN to you, what it can give you and your schools. At the end, I'm going to share with you some past papers, not all of them that I have. I've got, I would like to share like B1, for example. Okay, so let's begin. I would like to share, so here, look at the presentation, please. So here we go. I hope you see my presentation, okay? If you click on it, I believe it becomes bigger and it covers all your screen, okay? So, have a look here. This is the logo of LRN. It represents 3 circles which are interconnected. Well, that's connected basically with the vision and mission of LRN. That celebrates diversity and cultural ethnicity and multi-ethnicity and cultural diversity. Well, we must not forget that there are 340 million native speakers of English, while the people who consider themselves speakers of English, foreign speakers of English, there are 1.5 billion people. That's a great number, guys. So people in so many nations speak English, and well, they're coming from different continents and different nations, and we welcome that. It's actually obvious throughout the test and the listening part and the speaking part as well. Is everything okay? So I'm just hearing some voices. Okay, go on. All right. So LRN stands for Learning Resource Network. It's an accredited awarding organization. It's located in London, in the UK, and it's regulated by the Office of Qualifications and Examinations of England. I'm going to talk a little more about the importance of the registration by Ofqual a little further down. Maybe the summary, this slide is the summary of LRN and what it provides. So firstly, we offer English examinations at 6 main levels, from pre-junior to proficiency C2. All this according to the CEFR, the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, which basically sets the standards of language assessment for all foreign languages, French, Spanish, Italian, Greek, and it regulates that the levels are kept according to the standards based on the level of difficulty, okay? So the easiest level to take at CEFR is A1, then it proceeds to A2, and then we go to B1, B2, C1 and finish at C2 level, which is proficiency. And the second important piece of information is that LRN offers qualifications that are regulated by Ofqual of England. So how does all this system work? And I've been talking about Ofqual for so long. So Ofqual is an organization that has got powers granted to it by the UK government, and it's an independent regulatory body, and it requires, and basically it maintains standards across assessments, okay? There is a committee by the UK government that is responsible for monitoring the Ofqual's performance. So after that, you see what the Ofqual does and its mission. It basically uses the powers given to it by the British government, and it recognizes different organizations which successfully move through a very rigorous approval process and undergo continual quality assurance activities, okay? Also, okay, moving down, so Ofqual awards license, kind of license to Learning Resource Network, as well as such awarding organizations you might know, like Cambridge and Pearson and City and Guilds. Okay, and they offer qualifications in English, okay? So this means that these organizations like LRN are able to develop, deliver, and award regulated qualifications that sit on the regulated qualifications framework, which is important. It gives it a credit throughout other nations in Europe and in the world. Okay, and so LRN works with many training centers that organize and administer English exams to become a UK, to become an LRN UK approved center. Well, there is a procedure for that, but it's not very difficult, and we as DQuals help schools to undergo that, to do that. So. So why would anybody choose LRN? Well, there are four major things. LRN exams have no expiration date. Once anybody takes and passes successfully an LRN test at any level, this certificate is valid for life. Also, well, I've said it's regulated by the Office of Qualifications. Also, thirdly, LRN tests and certificates are recognized by universities and immigration offices. And fourthly, it's got a low cost comparing to other tests. Okay, now to be a bit to go into details about what are the products, what are the tests that you can take with LRN. These are, firstly, of course, the ESOL exams, the English for speakers of other languages, as I said, on 6 levels, on the scale of 6 levels. Also, we provide business English. And thirdly, it's the TESOL test for teachers, to have an internationally recognized certificate for teaching English anywhere in the world. As for the geography of LRN, we've got 150 exam centers in 58 countries, mainly in Europe, but also in Asia and in North America. Now, let's have a look at in more detail about the parts of the test. So, LRN test, because it follows the CEFRs, has got 4 main parts. They are listening, speaking, reading, and writing, okay? So, the tasks vary, but mainly they're multiple choice tasks in reading and in use of English and listening. The good thing is listening is provided twice, so students can listen to the recordings twice. Also, in the use of English, we've got a part which is close. So the candidates choose one of the 4 options to fill in a gap, and at level C1 and C2 they're open close. So students just provide a word, whatever they think is appropriate. Next, well, as for speaking, when students take the speaking test, they basically know what to expect, because it's structured in such a way that it makes them feel more relaxed. They know what is expected or what they're going to say. So if they are prepared, they can pass it very successfully. Okay, despite the fact that we've got the 4 parts, ones that you see, LRN counts them as one module. What does it mean? It means that it's true that the marks, the points for each part are calculated separately, but they're not, there is not a pass rate for each of them separately. All the marks are added together and the average is calculated. So if a student passes 50% of all that, all the number of correct answers, he passes the test. Well, I can explain why. You know, through, like, in my practice, and I've been an examiner, I'm not also an English teacher, there are many people, many students that are, how to say, they are, well, we've got 8 intelligences, right? So there are people who are maths type of people, literature type of people, kinesthetic, art, and so on. So in some exams, people who are more like language oriented, they're doing well with languages, they tend to have a higher grade in language tests, while we believe that language skills for profession and for future life, they have to be like the speaking and the knowledge of language doesn't have to depend on your type of intelligence, whether you're a IT or technological type, or you are I don't know, arts type of person. So that's why many students say that it's more practical. It tests the practical skills of English. Okay, let's move on. So, what do our qualifications offer? Well, first and foremost, maybe it's getting a better job. When candidates, when a person comes for a job interview, he's got all this, he provides his qualifications and diplomas and certificates, professional, as well as language. So no matter how much time the HR manager has to test his professional skills and language skills, he cannot do this in depth. So a language certificate, which is valid and is provided by a registered qualification awarding organization, gives a certain assurance that this level, this exam, this person basically possesses the necessary skills for the job. Also, it gives an opportunity for people to study in another country. Many universities in Europe and the UK accept LRN certificate at one of the highest levels as a language requirement. And thirdly, guys, it's a very good practice for setting goals with your students and you know, targeting a certain level. Like you say, all right, let's go for B1 this year. So what do we need to do? It helps you and the students to plan their work. So at the end of the year, they take a test and, well, hopefully they pass it successfully. So they have got an internationally recognized certificate, instead of just saying, yeah, well, we've done this book, we've studied that level, you know, that editor's house, that book. So and they really don't know what kind of level they have, what are their skills valid, where do they go from there. So let's see some feedback. We've got some feedback here. Some of our candidates have answered, and they said they enjoyed the test because the tasks were clear and straightforward, and it was easy to understand. It was plain and easy. Okay, we've got here Isabella. She said, well, many students like that the listening is played twice for them, and the skills that are tested are practical. Some others say that it's indeed a very good tool for setting goals and moving forward with language learning. And, well, it's a skill for life after all, right? Well, now, coming to you, what are the reasons for you to partner with us, right? So obviously your students gain an easily recognizable qualification. They have an easier path to higher education and higher qualifications. Your organization gains in prestige. Apart from the fact that there are also commercial benefits, it's true that if a school or like a school is a center of language assessment, I believe it's got a profile of a more trusted institution, something like this with the parents and students. Also, it's easy to partner with us because we do all the paperwork. Well, it's not much, but it's important to keep things in order, as well as, you know, provide the correspondence and stuff. So, and also, the last but not least, it's it's cheaper than the market price of other exams. About the international recognition, okay, LRN tests is in Association of Language Testers of Europe, ALTE, so-called. Also in the English UK, it's a corporate member at the English UK, as well as it's got a registration number. It's certified by the British Assessment Bureau. Mm-hmm. All right, next. Okay, now if you want to prepare your students, we've got textbooks for you. At each level, there are student books and teachers' books that provide a lot of sample tests, and where all the grammar which students find difficult to master at this level, you've got plenty of practice for that. In addition, we organize a summer camp in Cyprus, where you can bring your kids, get them, register them on an intensive course, and well, if they're very close to taking the test or the test dates are near, they can actually take a test. Apart from this, coming to a camp, okay, they always get a diploma of completion of a course which corresponds to a level, which is not a regulated qualification, but still it's an international certificate. Well, I don't have to tell you about the advantages of Cyprus to health-wise and history-wise. This place is full of different monuments. It's got fantastic nature, things to explore. It's one of the safest countries in the world. It's a truly multinational place where students will be motivated to, and they will understand why they need to speak English well, because everybody around, from adults and elderly people to the young ones, they all speak English. Okay, to sum up, I've got a small slide here. So we believe that LRN exams are candidate friendly because they don't have any trap questions and unpleasant surprises. The requirements for the C2, the highest level, are not exaggerated as probably are with other awarding organizations. Well, our aim to reduce candidates' stress and reveal their potential is obvious throughout the whole test paper we're going to see shortly. Also, LRN supports students with learning difficulties. It's also considered as a smart exam because all the parts of the test are considered one module, and basically the grade is calculated on the basis of all the marks that student accumulates through in all the parts. Okay, so that's it. You're welcome to work with us. I'm going to leave you my email for further information and for the further steps that we can take in order to move forward, to get to know each other, right? Okay. You know what? I see. I'm so happy to see everybody here. Hi. Okay.
It's time for questions.
Sorry?
Isn't it time for questions?
It's look. Can't I show you one of the past papers?
Please.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Thanks. Just a second. I'll get it on the screen for you. Yes. All right. Just a second. So that's how a test paper looks like. Okay. This is a B1 test. It's considered intermediate. Yeah. So in this paper, we've got 3 parts that the students sit together. They've got, this was in January 2016. The listening at B1 and B2 lasts 30 minutes, writing and reading 2 hours. At the C1 and C2, it's slightly longer. It comes to approximately 3 hours, but not more than this, okay? So we begin. I've got all the instructions for students and here. So firstly, it's the listening part. Section 1 has got 9 short conversations. There are 3 questions in the multiple choice thing here. You listen to recording twice, each of them separately. Okay, so while listening, basically you listen to 9 short recordings and you answer the questions. You can mark them here, and then you have 2 minutes to transfer your marks on the answer sheet. Okay, this is B1, so the topics of B1 are connected with everyday life, expressing my likes, my daily routine. That's mainly that's it. Okay. Okay, section 2 has 3 longer conversations, and now 3 longer conversations, and we've got 2 questions for every conversation. At the hairdressers, there are 2 questions. Again, every dialogue is listened twice by the candidates. And the last part of listening is a longer piece. Here it was a message to a friend. And okay, you listen twice in order to fill in, to answer the questions. Okay, so some of them look like this, so that's it. And here comes, so after that, like the students listen twice, they mark the answers on the paper, and then the recording continues, and it says, now listen to part 3 again, this part. Okay, so you listen again. Why? Because your writing task begins. Like you turn to writing, section 1, task 1, and you open, and then you have 1 minute to open it. So, and then what happens? You listen to the part 3 again, and based on that part, you make some notes in the space provided, answering questions like what Helen should have or should not have for breakfast, attempts, and so on. So, but these are not marked, obviously. And after this, the students write their own similar piece of writing, which is an email to a friend, giving him or her advice about how to keep fit and healthy. So, even if you're not familiar with this topic or you haven't studied that for some reason, you know, like your book didn't have it, you still are able to dwell and to refer to the listening in part 3 and do the part 1 of the writing. Okay, so this is the part 1. Here it is quite small, it's only 100 words. Then the part 2 students get to choose one of the options. It's either, it's and a bit longer writing part this time. So it's like 130 words. You've got a letter to choose from, or a story that begins with words, or you write an essay. And the points you are offered to you know, describe what is in the prompts. These are prompts, okay? So it's very good if students paraphrase. So their paraphrasing skills are tested here, but they can have some ideas what to write about in this composition. Okay, after this they continue and they go to a reading part. In the reading part, we've got short text like this one. It's the topics of everyday life. It's about art and technology and education, traveling, city life. Okay, so this is about a famous person. We've got multiple choice questions again for this text. So true, what's true, and so on. And okay, 8 questions here. And then section 2 of the reading has got 2 texts. Like this one is moving to the countryside. The text is on the left, and the questions on the right. And then there also in the section 2, there's another text, problems of living in the countryside. Well, students do that as well. And then they have from 16 to 30, there's a reading and use of English. So whatever CEFR says students has to know on the B1 level is tested here. So knowing what is required, you can always prepare your students, okay? So B1 tests the knowledge of modal verbs, verbs of tenses, prepositions, more tenses, connectors, question words, what else? A little bit of indirect speech, okay, articles, tag questions. Okay, and the last one is the clause that I was talking about. So this is a text called Playing Outdoors, and the answers are here. So students get to choose one of the answers that fits best each gap. So this is the writing part. Let me show you the speaking part now, okay, quickly. Speaking at B1 lasts 14 minutes to 16 minutes, and there are 2 candidates at once. Again, so the first part is a warm-up stage where students, well, they are invited in, you register them on the test, and 2 or 3 questions from this list are asked about hobbies and free time activities, just to get them settled, to calm down, you know, to regain control of emotions. And so we don't ask questions about family. In LRN, we believe it's not appropriate. And then section 2, and the assessor says, okay, let's move to part 2. So the part 2 is based on something they have prepared at home. Look, so throughout the year, obviously, the students study around 40 topics for speaking. A wide range. Actually, we actually provide the list of 20 topics to study. But a week before the test, we release the list of 5 topics that are actually going to appear on the test. So every student decides which one he's going to talk about for 1 minute in the part 2. So the examiner invites both candidates in turn to speak for 1 minute, something that they have prepared from before. 1 minute is a long talk for B1, believe me. So this could be about the advantages of eating homemade food, where would you like to live when you grow up, and using internet, and the protection of environment, and pets. Okay, so these are the topics for B1. So every student chooses one topic and prepares thoroughly for that. Well, here's the catch. So if you think that they can cheat and you just prepare one topic, it's impossible, because the candidates at the test are matched in a way, so neither of them, like each of them have different topics, so you never know what your partner on the test is going to have. So you have to really prepare well, really well, because every time a student delivers this 1-minute talk, the other candidate is supposed to listen carefully and ask questions or interact with the other candidate, discuss or agree or disagree. So the LRN test basically tests how well you don't only deliver speech, but you also interact, how you say these words, how you talk to a stranger about a topic like this, okay? So you have to be aware, you have to know well. Okay, and then the turn of the second candidate comes, so he delivers the 1-minute speech, and the first candidate is invited to comment and ask questions. After this, they move to part 3. The assessor basically doesn't mark anything while he's listening. He's not marking, he's not moving his hands. Okay, they're flat on the table, okay? All the marking happens afterwards, and the mistake, writing and marking the mistakes in speech and registering them happens after the test. This is a part of our seminar for assessors, which I will be able to provide for you sometime close to the date of the exam. Okay, so the part 3 quickly. The part 3 is also 5 to 6 minutes, and here the assessor asks student a question like this. Okay, so he chooses a question and he says, okay, I'd like to answer this question. So the candidate reads the question and reads the prompts, and he has to talk about it. Okay, he has to, it's again based on what they have studied throughout the year, and it's very nice if they paraphrase and they don't just read the prompts. So the way to keep cool and to paraphrase is also tested. And again, the second candidate is invited to interact and comment on what the first candidate has said, and then they change terms, okay? So that's it. That's the exam. If I show you everything, yeah, can I just show you the certificates? So the certificates, I like this one more. So this is how it looks, okay? I'm going to make it a bit smaller for you to see. So the certificate looks like this. This one, this candidate was awarded distinction. It says the level, okay? It's got the signature of the LRN Director of Operations. And also, check this out, it's got the hologram that proves that this is an authentic paper, okay, by LRN, cannot be copied. It's registered by OFCOL, and we've got, on the certificate, you can trace the center number, the candidate's number, and the qualification number, okay? And also the certificate number. So all the certificates are unique, okay? So they cannot be, and then of course, obviously the date and the date of issue. Okay, that's it. Certificates are usually issued 2 months after the test is taken, but we are like, it doesn't depend on us so much because there is a quality assurance thing, the standardization, that we've got procedures that cannot make it faster, unfortunately, okay? But we are planning to make it a little bit faster, but it can go only a little bit less than 2 months, okay? And if you become a center, if your school becomes a center, you get a similar certificate to that. So this is an LRN center certificate, okay? It's valid. It's usually valid for some years. Okay, and that's it. Well, I think I'm done. I'm happy. I'm happy to listen to any of your comments and questions, please. I'm not sure, like, can you please type your questions? I will stop sharing, and I'd like to, yes, can you please type your questions, because I'm afraid if we all speak, it's going to be a little bit loud and messy. So have you found the chat, the message thing?
Svetlana, will you go back to the writing section? And will you show, well, where there is a choice, either this or that topic, section 2, I guess.
In the writing, yes. Okay,
Right.
sure. Just a minute. Yes, great. Okay, you're welcome. Everybody's welcome to write, okay?
While we are speaking, you're welcome to raise other questions, people.
Yes, wait, where is it?
The question is, yeah, well, I have seen the choice, either this or that question or topic you are welcome to develop. So are they treated or assessed equally? Because I guess the topics, the questions are a little bit different.
No, they're treated equally and there's no difference, whatever you like.
Because, well, they offer either to write an essay or email or something. Don't you think that, well, to write a letter is could be a bit easier rather than an essay?
Mm-hmm. That's why, Tatiana, we've got prompts, you see? Okay, prompts are much more developed. If you notice, they're much more developed than writing a story and writing a letter. So in writing a letter, you just have this, where your new house is, what it looks like.
So you have to cover all this.
Well, yeah, you have to be within the words and you have to stick to the topic. You have to develop paragraphs, introductions and conclusions, topic sentences, nice vocabulary, linkers, this mix.
Yes, I see.
Okay.
And I've noticed that most of the texts, they don't relate to academic sphere. They cover rather like, well, everyday living, communication, am I right?
It's just B1. At the level of B1 level, it's impossible to have anything that's connected with, like, it's more like for everyday life. If we look at the requirements for B1, it's basically what's around us, everyday life, my likes, my job, my university, my plans for the future, and my biography. But at level C1 and C2, you will see more scientific tests. But I think it's not like IELTS. IELTS has got some texts are really, wow.
Maybe.
Some biology, even for me, is difficult to see. Like, wow, what's that? No, it's general English. It's general English, guys. It's not business. It's just for general skills. Like, you know, can you imagine like C2 level, not according to LRN, but according to the European Framework for Languages. That's the level of a native speaker. So C2 is proficiency. And imagine now a native speaker of English. Okay, they are very good at talking about their own profession, right? But they're not really fluent in talking about other areas. Do you understand? It's like, so they can serve, the language skills are well enough, like good, you know, on a higher level to express themselves in everyday situations in their professional life, right? To understand magazines and other press and to see things on TV, like that's it, right? That's a native speaker, that's a profile. Oh, I don't hear you. Yes? Wait, 1 second. For some reason you're muted. Wait. Tatiana, I can't hear you. You were here, I can't. Can you write your message for me? I don't know why. I'll stop sharing. Maybe it comes up. Hello? Strange. Wait a minute. Unmute. Hello? Doesn't work. Okay, can you please, okay, so I have questions here. Unfortunately, our employers don't know other than IELTS exams. So they require STEM and English teachers to take IELTS in order to just prove their level of English. Okay, IELTS is mostly receiving university applicants. Well, yeah, sure, it's true. IELTS is a great test. And it's their right, the employer's right to accept some tests. We cannot fight this, we cannot combat this. But well, if you know what, in my personal practice, because I've been doing several jobs in my life, and yeah, it's true that they write on the announcement of job vacancy that they take IELTS. But if a person comes and he speaks good English and he provides another certificate, it's fine. And it's, yeah, they kind of, like in here where I am now, Russian language is a must. Everybody has to know Russian. But in fact, Russian language is not required at the job. So the HR managers, they just write it many times, like something, but then they hire something with without that qualifications that were advertised. But I cannot argue this. It's true. Okay. What we've seen as like what we can offer as well is we are in partnership with an organization that provides a certificate of equivalence. So basically, your candidates, when they take the test and they have an LRN certificate, we give them another additional paper from UK exam board that states the level of so what it is equivalent to in IELTS, in Cambridge, in TOEFL, in TOEIC, and so on. Okay, so that's it. Anything else? Nothing else I can say about it. It's like, yeah, everywhere in the world, yes, many universities accept only IELTS and they don't take Cambridge. Okay, not even Cambridge. I mean, okay, it's their right, sure. There are others who do, basically. Anything else? You're welcome with your questions. Anything about the procedures? Would you like to try? Would you like me to send you some past papers? To tell you how to advertise it to your clients and to your students, maybe? I mean, I can always do this. You have my email, okay? My email is like this. Yes, that's my email for your consideration. If anything else, like anything you want, you're more than welcome. Okay. Well, I think do you have any question? No, nothing. I see, it's very nice. I see only 4 videos, but I haven't got any other videos. It's this is a kind of new interface for me. Okay, okay, Tatiana. You're from Technical University, and we certainly would like to know more. Oh, that's great. Could you leave me your email? We could start a correspondence. Whatever you prefer, we can talk through Tatiana or directly. It's just fine. Some paper. Yes, of course, I can send you some papers. Yes, definitely. Thank you. That's it's evident that LRN test is user friendly. Thank you. Yeah, we really position LRN as a candidate friendly test. If you send me, as I said, as you send me some emails or an email, I could send you everything, all the files. Okay. I can. Hey, we can put it on a cloud. Okay, for everybody to see. Would you like that? So you can download. Actually, I have. It's on our website, actually. So giving you a test is not a problem, as well as the presentation that I have shown today and anything else. I am more than really willing to talk again and make another webinar if you invite some of your colleagues or your managers, anybody, okay? It would be fantastic. Okay, Elena says, you've shown the map. Where do you have the centers? Any in Kazakhstan, in Russia? Yes. Well, in Kazakhstan, no, but we're really hoping we're going to have. So in Russia, yes, we've got Moscow. We've just, we've launched last year in Yamalo-Nenetsky Okrug. It's in somewhere north of Siberia. We've got a center in Astrakhan, in Kostroma, in Kursk, in something Astrakhan said, well, Moscow I said, right? Vologda. So there are quite a few now. I've been going to and attending conferences since last year in Russia, and we've got a great response. because Cambridge exams are quite expensive in Russia. So, and many students, like, because LRN tests basically targets the everyday learner, not the ones that are planning to enter universities, because, okay, Cambridge is accepted more at universities. So in order to do this and to allow the people to take an exam every year to test their language skills, they need to be cheaper. They don't have to be so expensive, okay? So, and because LRN is equal in terms of, as a qualification, it's equal to Cambridge, because it's also regulated by the same OFQOL, okay? So it's, why not do this, okay? Since we begin from the very early age, we've got also 3 tests for pre-juniors when the children, they just start learning the alphabet, the phonics and stuff. So this is very good for your development, the development of your language skills. And Russia needs this. And teachers in Russia also need to be trained how to prepare for international tests, because many of them, I would say, well, some of them lack that kind of expertise and lack necessary language skills. So we are working on that. Okay, some other questions. English from Tatiana. English qualification is required for a good job, not only for academic life. Yes, I agree. English qualification is required. And you know what? Sometimes at the job interview, there is a person, like, these students, some of them are extroverts, others are introverts. So there could be an extrovert who is really good at, small talk and every day. So he's very confident at the test. So naturally, as a tester, you want to give him a better mark, right? At an interview, somebody who is well prepared to answer the questions of a future employer, you create a very good impression, okay? This can be, but he hasn't got the level. Like, if he dig deeper, he hasn't got the skills for the job. I mean, language skills, good enough, not good enough. Other people who are introverts, and they don't speak more than you ask them, and they answer you yes or no, but which is not, doesn't show them in very good, reveals their skills. So a language certificate always helps an HR manager to do this, okay? Tatiana, where we can get a book for preparation for the exam. Yes, as I said, I've got these books for your PDF. If you want, you can order them basically to have hard copy for your students, but you pay. Well, we are ready to give you some PDFs so that you print them, okay, as well, and just prepare. Well, there are many tests. The past papers are available online. They are free for you to use. From Tatiana, who is examiners speaking section? Native speakers, the local? Well, there are native speakers and locals, but you're not allowed to take the tests of your own students. Okay, if you're a teacher, you're not allowed to do this. It's forbidden. But as I said, this is what started my presentation, is the diversity and multicultural aspect of this. So you know that the language speakers in the world are 4 times more than native speakers. So we believe the English language doesn't belong to native English speakers anymore. I mean, really, guys, look at this. Everybody speaks English, and even the books by major publishers have got listening that provide a variety of accents. There are people with Chinese accents, Indian accents, Russian accents, Italian accents. So you can hear a lot of audios that present people where the English language is not the native. Actually, that's the reality, okay? The children are not going to be talking to people with a perfect BBC English all the time. Chances are 4 times higher that they're gonna communicate in English with non-native speakers of English. That's it. Okay, another question. I think, yeah, that's it, yeah. And by the way, talking about the speaking examiners, if the examinations in Kazakhstan are going to happen, I am going to organize a webinar, a many-hour webinar, to prepare the people who are willing to be speaking assessors, to prepare them for this job, for the day of the exam. So you're more than welcome. You either connect with Tatiana or me, and when the day is going to come, we're organizing that. We're going to organize an exam. I'm going to be coming to Kazakhstan for the first time in my life and see everybody, all of you, and to see your candidates, and as well, you know, train you and prepare you to be the examiners. Okay. What do you think? Any more questions? Okay, I think like, if you have any issues, any questions that you think afterwards, please write. Okay, I want for this to happen. Me personally, I believe in education, and believe in that it basically creates a better world. Well, we all do, don't we? Anyway, so if this happens, we promote more English assessment in other places like your country, it's going to be great. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aha, yes, Tatiana, I can hear you. Thank you so much. It must be really late in Astana right now. It is not really. Well, it's getting late here as well. Yes, as I said, please write. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you. It's so nice having you, and I'm really looking forward to hearing from you again. Okay. Bye bye. Bye bye. I'm gonna switch it off now. Bye bye. Thank you.